Maria was 25, a vibrant young woman with dreams of becoming a fashion designer. But life had thrown her a curveball. Her father, her only family, was gravely ill and needed urgent medical treatment that cost more than she could ever imagine. 100,000 naira. She had tried everything, borrowing from friends, selling her possessions, and even taking on multiple jobs. But the hospital's deadline loomed, and she was still far from her goal. Desperation clawed at her, and she found herself considering an option she had vowed never to take. There was a man, Aid, who had been pursuing her for months. Aid was wealthy, confident, and persistent, but Maria had always felt uneasy around him. His words were sweet, but his intentions felt far from genuine. She had rejected him countless times, but now, with her father's life on the line, she saw no other choice. That evening, Maria dressed modestly and went to Aid's luxurious home. Her heart pounded as she knocked on the door. He opened it with a smirk, as if he had been expecting her. "Maria," he said smoothly, "to what do I owe this surprise visit?" She hesitated, then met his gaze. "I need 100,000 naira from you now. I'm willing to do anything for the money." His smirk widened. He gestured for her to come in and poured them both a drink. "Anything, you say?" Maria nodded, swallowing her pride. "Yes, anything." Aid leaned back in his chair, studying her. "Maria, I've always admired your beauty, and you know how much I want you." She pounced so hard, yes. For a moment he said nothing, then stood and walked over to a safe. He retrieved a bundle of cash and placed it on the table in front of her. "Here's the money. This money is triple what you asked for, but I want you on my bed." She nods. It tells her to strip naked, as she's taking her top off. He walks to her and kisses her passionately. The next day, Aid sat with his friend, angrily talking. "I can't believe she slept with me for money. I thought she was one of those responsible girls." His friend, Dami, responded, "I'm still in shock. If this wasn't coming from you, I wouldn't have believed it." Aid asked, "Can you please try to get her also with money, let's see?" His friend responded, "Yes, of course." Dami went to Maria and began to persuade her with words and money. But Maria gave him a dirty slap. He left in shock and went back to Aid, who was equally shocked by the story. The next day, Aid went to meet Maria, but just as he was about to confront her, he overheard Maria telling her friend, "The doctor has done the surgery for my dad, and he'll be fine soon." Her friend Mila asked, "So, how did you get the money?" Maria replied, "I was able to raise the money from Mr. Aid." Immediately, Aid left, feeling terrible for misunderstanding the situation. He realized he wouldn't have judged her so harshly if he had known the truth. The next day, he went to Maria and apologized for his behavior. "Maria," he began softly, "I heard about your father." Her throat tightened. "What do you want, Aid?" "To help," he said simply, holding out an envelope. Maria glanced at it but didn't reach for it. "I don't need your money." "It's not about money," he replied, his voice steady. "It's about you not carrying this burden alone." Her resolve wavered. "You don't understand, Aid. This is my fight." Aid stepped closer, his voice firm but kind. "Maria, you've been fighting alone for so long. Let someone else stand beside you for once." Tears welled up in her eyes, but she blinked them away. "Why do you care so much?" she whispered. He hesitated, his gaze dropping to the floor before meeting hers again. "Because I've made mistakes, Maria, and I can't undo them. But I can try to make things right." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The world outside seemed to hold its breath. Then, slowly, Maria reached for the envelope. Her fingers brushed against his, and she felt a flicker of something she couldn't quite name: hope, perhaps, or the faintest whisper of forgiveness. He went closer to Maria. "Please let me be the man for you." Her face brightened up. He hugged her tightly and said, "I love you. She smiled happily, her face radiant with joy.
From the moment I met you, I knew you were the one for me.